Hey guys, just a quick video showing you how I make a sliding knot necklace when you want to put a bead or pendant in the centre. Our necklace cord has two sliding knots and we've placed a knot on either side of the pendant so it doesn't slide along the cord. For our necklace today we're using 50 inches of 2mm satin nylon cord. We've also got a beautiful handmade bead with a hole drilled that's big enough to fit our cord inside. So start by just threading your bead or pendant onto the cord. Now placing our ends together and following it back down, we're going to find the middle. So holding the bead right in the centre and then holding the point to the right hand side of the bead. So holding it with my left hand and then with my right hand, bringing it around my finger 2 times to make 2 full loops around my finger. Gently holding on to the loops and removing them off our finger. Now we take the right side end of our cord and place it down both loops, pulling it out the right hand side and gently pulling this knot down tight onto that little spot. Now we can slide that pendant or bead up against the knot. Give it a pull to make sure that knot's nice and tight. Now we swap our pendant onto the opposite side. So again, holding it in our left hand on that point just on the side. With our right hand, we bring it around our finger 2 times to make 2 full loops around our finger. So gently holding those loops there, we take them off our finger and then place the cord down both loops. Pulling it out the right hand side, and this time we're gently going to work our knot down nice and tight and tidy right up against the bead. So just slowly wiggling and gently working that knot tight. Taking your time to work it up nice and tight right up close to the bead so that your bead doesn't have any movement there. Making sure both knots are pulled really nice and tight, and then you should have a pendant or bead that sits in the centre without having too much movement side to side. Now at this point I like to just check my cords and make sure they're nice and even. It's much easier to get our knots even if our cords are even length. So just holding that pendant down and bringing the cords up tight. Just cutting one end if it's longer than the other. Now we can move on to the sliding knot part of our design. So laying our necklace down with the cords overlapped and the left side cord at the top. Now picking it up and holding it in our left hand with this left side cord at the back. Making sure we've got a little bit of length on this cord here. And then bringing it over the front, down and out the back to form our first loop here. Now working towards the left, we bring it again over the front, down and out the back for our second loop, and then again for a third loop as well. Gently holding all 3 loops here, and then bending the end piece of our cord around and placing it down all 3 loops. Pulling it out the right hand side and then gently pulling this knot down nice and tight and tidy. Now that should be your first sliding knot. You can check that it slides along the other cord okay. Now we swap the whole necklace onto the opposite side and we're going to repeat the same process. So holding it in our left hand with this left side cord at the back, making sure we've got a little bit of length on it, and then bringing it over the front, down and out the back for our first loop. And to the left of that first loop, over the front, down and out the back for our second loop. and then again for a third loop as well. Now gently holding on to our 3 loops here and bending the end of our cord around and placing it down all 3 loops. Pulling it out the right hand side and gently pulling our knot down nice and tight and tidy. This time we're going to pull our knot down and try and have it match up with the knot on the opposite side. So just working it down until those little tails are about the same length, pulling it nice and tight, and then you can check and make sure they're sitting nice and evenly. If you're happy with it, then you can cut your tails off just outside the knots and singe your ends with a lighter so they don't fray. Now you can put your necklace on and adjust it into the right position. You should be able to wear it quite long or short depending on how you like to wear it. So there's your simple sliding knot bracelet with a fixed bead or pendant.